and the lives of children and their families who have been experiencing homelessness in our community. For the past 10 years, Jeanne has been a passionate volunteer advocate for Family Promise and is presently a member of the board. Jeanne and her husband Joe will bring 55 years and have 13 grandchildren. Soon to be 14 and one grandchild. That is amazing. That's wonderful. So, Jeanne, come on up here, and we're looking forward to hearing what you have to say about Family Promise. Without that action that's being taken place in the community.
First of all, I want to thank you for telling me that story. I can't wait. It's a matter of he's just a guy. So thank you so much. Singing is Is it better? Yes. Okay. Thank you. Like, I was hitting my guitar. Oh, all right. Thank you. It's a community. Whatsoever you do to the least of my brothers, that you unto me. When I was hungry, you gave me to eat. When I was thirsty, you gave me to drink. Now enter into the home of my Father. Whatsoever you do to the least of my brothers, that you do unto me. When I was homeless, you opened your door. When I was naked, you gave me your coat. Now enter into the home of my Father. Whatsoever you do to the least of my brothers, that you do unto me. I was weary, you helped me find rest. Father, whatsoever you do to the least of my brothers, that you do unto me. Thank you so much for inviting me, and so many friends from my neighbors to not old neighbors. Neighbor when I lived in another neighbor, my next, and in Canandaigua, and everyone from and just everyone. Life. You gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you clothed me. And the righteous man saying, Lord, When did we see you hungry feed you, or thirsty give you a drink? And when did we see a stranger and welcome you? And the Lord answered them, truly I say to you, as you did it to one of the least of my brothers, you did it to me. So today, I'm very excited to share the story of how Family Promise of Ontario County has answered the call to welcome the stranger and to help and to shelter the homeless. It's a story of changed lives, and not only the lives of the children and families we serve, but the changed lives of many others in the community, including myself, who have been impacted by Family Promise in a very personal way. Family Promise of Ontario County is a local nonprofit shelter program based in Guastaferro. It serves Ontario County families who fall on hard times due to circumstances often out of their control. For those facing the trauma of homelessness, our goal is to transform lives one family at a time. Housing, and specifically housing for low-income families in crisis. Ontario County is one of the few counties in this state that is actually growing in population. We have the highest median salary and household income of any other county in the area. We see people sleeping under bridges or in the parks, so they may have an assumption that we don't have a problem. The reason you don't see them is because the Department of Social Services, DSS, shelters them. On any given night in 2024, the DSS housed 190 homeless individuals, including 23 families every night. Think about that. That's more than triple the number of families we saw just 3 years before in 2020. Yes, we do have a problem, and it's growing. And often it starts with a layoff, a major car repair, an eviction, a long illness. And what I'd like you to do this morning is to imagine for a moment that you are in this situation. It's you and your husband with 2 school-age children. Your budget is tight, but you feel you're okay. Then your husband comes home and tells you he's been laid off. He doesn't work, and the only thing he can find is a temporary minimum wage job. You cut expenses, using your credit cards and trying someplace cheaper. But did you know that $1,000 isn't even a month's rent at most places in Ontario County? Look everywhere. You can't find anything you can afford. The day comes and you can't pay the rent again. You're getting evicted. You are now homeless in what feels like a blink of an eye. What are you going to do? Where are you going to go? Your family lives out of town and you can't get a friend to let you, the family of 4, move in now. Out of options, you're in a DSS hotel. How do you do laundry? How do you get your kids to school? How do you hold the family together? We promise that you will have a place, a safe place, a welcoming place, a place where you can make that dinner, a place where you can keep your family together while getting your life back on track. We give you hope. Our story began 10 years ago, in 2016, with very humble beginnings. A meeting was held to educate residents of Ontario County of the largely hidden problem of family homelessness in our community. The main purpose of that meeting was to gauge interest of who might be interested in helping develop an affiliate of that organization called Family Promise. It had a 30-year track record of success, and a former church rectory was offered to serve as a permanent day center in Canandaigua. And the families would be transported to the day center each morning from the congregation. And this is where the parents would be provided case management during the day to help them get a job and find affordable housing. Housing families and working with the guests and volunteers was one of the best experiences I ever had during the time we used the rotation model. I was the host coordinator from the congregation, and I looked back and I found some notes I wrote from the very first time our congregation welcomed guests for the week. Mom and a 7-month-old baby arrived. Baby had an ear infection. Parents did their best to comfort the baby. A family of 3 did not show, still moving out of an evicted apartment. An entire family of volunteers showed up with a prepared dinner for the guests on dishes one would use for a special occasion. They treated us as a family. A volunteer brought a projector and used his phone hotspot so that one of the guests wouldn't miss their favorite Eagles team, the Giants. A teenage volunteer played Uno with the children. And one of our pregnant guests wrote in our guest book. I had a wonderful experience. Everyone was so welcoming and caring. And the food was fantastic. And if we needed anything, everyone was more than happy to help. Thank you for all your time, and I'll be sure to give you updates on the baby. And a couple of months later, the baby was born on the first. I was in constant awe of the genuine love and compassion expressed from each of the volunteers. They truly created a home and family for the guests while they were in our care. There was no judgment, just lots of love. This scenario was repeated every week with the 12 other congregations who were also called to welcome the stranger and shelter the homeless. And then we all remember what happened in March 2020. COVID-19, right? And the model that was working so well was stopped in its tracks. Family Promise had to immediately abandon its traditional rotational shelter model due to safety mandates. This was such a disappointment to all the volunteers who look forward to spending time and making a difference in their lives. To get everyone safe, we had to have immediate shelter. My husband and I were fortunate to have an in-law apartment in our home with a private entrance, and we invited a family of 3, a mother, dad, 3-year-old daughter, to stay with us until something more permanent could be found. The rise in homelessness all over the country, federal emergency grants became available. Family Promise collaborated landlords and began placing families in unoccupied apartments spread over Canandaigua, Bloomfield, and using the grant to grant. During the transition to what's now called the apartment model, we were able to extend our services to 4 programs. Shelter should be our main program, adding eviction prevention services, shelter diversion, and stabilization services. Our stabilization program is very important to families who graduate from our shelter program. The ultimate goal is that they never return back to chronic homelessness. We continue management as necessary after they graduate, make sure they stay on the right path and continue to be sustainable. And then we also start a community outreach program, which connects individuals and families to resources from community agencies when we are unable to direct assistance ourselves. The families that come to us want desperate to do better, but they just don't know where to begin. Navigating the many resources that are available in our county is difficult and can be confusing. The community outreach program can connect resources to our families and help them through that process. And I want to mention what happened to the family who stayed with us for a couple months during COVID. We got to know the family pretty well, and we stay in touch. And their daughter even called me Jeanne. First day of preschool, they invited me to come and be there when the bus arrived. I never had, I feel like I don't deserve that, right? She just ran to me. The bus was there. And just jumped up to me. And I just couldn't believe it. It was just sweet. At the time the pandemic was over, they had graduated from family business on their own apartment in Brookdale. That's just an example of family business transforming lives, one family at a time. By the middle of 2023, COVID-19 was declared over. That's true. Emergency shelter grants began to disappear. By late 2024, Family Promise was forced to reduce the number of rental apartments to serve only families, barely scratching the surface to meet the needs of our community. Remember, 24 families, right? We started researching the possibility of having a family homeless shelter in Ontario County. By then, we were finding that many Family Promise affiliates around the country were shifting from a traditional rotational model to the static site shelter model, providing advantages. For example, and efficient case management. At that point, it was interesting for us, very interesting. Until Ed and Molly Shill Cares Foundation heard of our plight, and through their generosity and support, we were able to accelerate our mission, and it took almost 2 years to complete the project. But I am so excited to tell you that our dream has come true. The very first family homeless center in Ontario County is now open. We welcomed our very first family less than 2 weeks ago on May 26th. The new named Shill Family Center is located at 499 North Main Street, Kennedy, and it's housed in a beautiful historic house that has been vacant for some time. I believe it's 5,000 is large. Now, if you drove through Kennedy during last year, you may have seen a large science and innovation project taking place on North Main Street across Family Promise will now provide shelter support services for up to 7 families, maximum capacity of 30 individuals at a time. Children there will be able to continue school while busing provided by their home school district, which will allow them to have consistency in their education. We are staffed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And because we will be on site with the families on a regular basis, there will be opportunities to volunteer with the families in much the same way we did when we used the congregation relational model. Many people ask how long families stay in the shelter. It is important to understand that our shelter program is a hands-up, not a hands-out program. Families that engage with our services, that has very fine goals. Once accepted, it works with the family team who help them create individual action plans. Because the shelter is not intended to permanent solution, families will be given the tools they need to regain stability, secure housing, find employment, and move forward with confidence. Once they're on their way, there will be an opportunity to welcome other families into our program. Homeless families deserve dignity and hope, and that is what the shelter offers. Once they get back on their feet, they deserve the opportunity to put on the roots, build stable, living in the home and community. And now, I'd like to invite you to take a few minutes, like that, a few minutes to watch a powerful video and meet two of our families behind mission of Family Promise Ontario. Lives can be.
Because you're not yourself when you're surviving. That's not you. That's not who you are. I had a rough patch in my life. I was pregnant with my third. I had two to take care of, and I lost my job. I lost my car. I lost everything.
On Sundays, we like to go on drives. And so that Sunday was when we had, I think it was about 5-6 inches of rain that day, and it really wasn't letting up, and it was getting quite a lot worse. And then we got worried and wanted to come check on the house. So we came back and we could see water coming out of our garage. From the back corner to about half the house, the foundation bricks had just crumbled in. I'm not a specialist with insurance. I know a little bit more now, but at the time, not something I knew a lot about. I would have assumed that this was something that would be covered. It turns out that's not quite true. We looked at, moving into an apartment, but we wouldn't have been able to keep paying the mortgage and pay for an apartment.
A man broke into my hotel room. I came home from work at 11:30 at night, got my baby, go to my hotel room, and there is a man in my bed. And I had to call the police 3 times before they removed him from my room. I didn't want my kids to see a world like that. I mean, we all know we grow up learning that that's a thing. But when they're little, you want to keep them as innocent and safe as possible. I didn't like the person I was. I didn't like my life. And the more I lost, the more it became evident that I just might not deserve good things in my life.
I'm sorry. It's so hard. Family Promise gave me my life back.
I love Family Promise. They were so kind to me, and they helped us when we didn't know where to go. Being given an option where we're able to see a future where we can stay in Canandaigua, where we can stay in New York, we can get our house back, it's meant everything to us. Housing just affects everything in your life. Taking that weight off of someone is really life-changing.
To be part of this program, you actually have to work for it. You have to go out there and get those job interviews, get that job. This is your life. They're here to help, but you have to go manage it. I met with them on a Tuesday, stayed 2 nights where I was, and then by Friday we were moving in here. I walked up these steps on this porch, walked through that front door and up those stairs, and I saw that beachy, sunny picture right at the top of those stairs, and I was instantly calm. And I'm like, I love it here. There is a welcome mat on the floor, and I'm like, I am welcomed. This is definitely my space.
Really well. She's actually working from us in the shelter. She has a job, some kind of management job. She's so happy. It's so nice. That's awesome. All along. So thank you. Thank you so much for allowing me to share the story of Family Promise of Ontario County. It's been a 10-year journey. We're not done yet. Our goal is to open a second family home shelter in Geneva, as well as additional shelter locations in the future. Right, we're actually in the midst of a capital campaign, and it's started a couple years ago to start with the first one, but they said we just need more than that. Our community can do better, right? So fighting homelessness takes the community, and I'm so proud of every town and city in Ontario County. There are so many caring individuals, businesses, civic organizations, congregations, local leaders, volunteers, and donors who have given time, talent, and treasures to support this wonderful mission. And I'd love to have a show of hands. How many people perhaps have been part of Family Promise, or I would love to see that. See one of my volunteers. So, yeah, thank you so much for having the opportunity today to be available. There's a table out there. There's a rendering of the shelter table, and there's brochures about our ongoing capital campaign, which will help us reach the goal of opening future family homeless centers in Ontario. Okay? I would love to share the ways you can join us and be part of the solution to family homelessness. Thank you so much.
It was so beautiful. It was just the sound of them together, singing that my day. So before Jamie comes and tells us what we're going to have to eat, we just want to give a taste of Jennifer Shaw. And there's a short video that Dave is going to play that perhaps would be coming. Sharing I promise.
Hello, ladies of Laterno Christian Center. My name is Jennifer Shaw, and I'm so excited that I was invited to come out and teach your women's conference. It's a one-day conference on September 17th, and we are just going to have a fabulous time together, just digging into God's Word. I'm going to tell some stories and sing some songs, and we're really going to look at what it means to be transformed by following Christ, and how when we are willing to go wherever God leads us, that not only blesses our lives, but it blesses the lives of others. So I really hope you can join us. It's going to be a great opportunity to bring a friend, bring a neighbor, bring a coworker, bring your sister, and we'll have a great day together digging into God's Word. So I hope you can join us September 17th, and I'll see you then.
Cheerleader. She picked a good one, right? In September, we're going to get you off, so your dream can come true. You're already natural. Well, ladies, it's a beautiful day. It's a little more than a month ago. We kind of were joking a little bit that we've skipped spring this year and went straight to the summer because it feels like that now. But it's going to be a great day. It's already been a day. I'm going to jump right into the menu today and pray together. But this is what Elise has come up with in the team today. It's an amazing meal. She's going to start you off with something fresh, Italian salad, which is fresh mixed greens, topped with tomatoes, red